check one more thing. Okay, welcome to the first flipped classroom. Up to this point, we've done many PowerPoints on in class. This one you're going to do at home, and we're just going to kind of see how it goes, see how it works out, and go from there. Today, we're really kind of leaving the micro or the intro economic portion to this class, and we're heading headlong into macro. So we're going to be talking about the circular flow diagram first, and kind of about GDP as a general concept, including what would be in GDP, what would be out of GDP, as well as how to calculate GDP. So all of those things, it's densely packed, so pay close attention. So let's talk about the circular flow diagram first, and I do want you to know this diagram by heart. It's going to be super important for your understanding and your comprehension of GDP and how it works. So, circular flow diagram. There are a couple of sectors in the economy. One of those sectors is households, right? This would be anybody's personal house. We can use me for an example. So I know at my house, what do we do? Well, amongst other things, there's going to be a lot of buying and selling, right? Buying and selling of good, or not necessarily selling, but lots of buying of goods and services, okay? Buying of goods and services. So what might we buy? Well, groceries, right? Sometimes we go to Amazon, right, and purchase things off Amazon, and Walmart potentially. All different numbers of types of things that we are buying in this market for goods and services. So let's see exactly how this plays out. Who would be the other sector of the economy that we need to take in consideration? Well, who are we buying these things from? The answer would be firms. What's another word for firms? Businesses, right? Okay, so households and firms are the two primary sectors when discussing the economy, when discussing GDP. And we talked about this market for goods and services. So, what am I providing the businesses? If I were to shop on Amazon, right, for whey protein, I would be providing Amazon with money, $30, for a 5-gallon tank of whey protein. Okay, so with that, there's been an exchange that has taken place. And that's important to know, important to remember. This is us, me, and the firm participating in this market for goods and services. Very much like you and your family. I don't know what you guys buy, but I know one thing that everybody in here has bought, and that is an education at the school, right? So what did your household provide? You provided money for a year of tuition at Benedictine. Okay, and in exchange, Benedictine has provided that education. That, guys, is the market for goods and services. Another word you might hear for this is the product market. Okay, the product market, another term for the market for goods and services. Let's move on to the other part. So it isn't a one-way street. We aren't just providing money to firms, because we've run out of money pretty quick. We've got to be getting money from these firms as well. How do we do that? Well, that's going to be the other side. That's going to be the factor market. The resource market is another term for it. Either the factor market or the resource market. One of the two. How does the factor market work? Well, in exchange for providing one of the 4 factors of production, firms are giving us or providing us with money. Okay? How does that play out? Well, we just used the example of Benedictine. Let's use it again. Who is Benedictine paying? Well, it's paying me amongst other people, right? Other people who work in the building. Because what am I providing Benedictine? One of the factors of production. I am providing labor to the school. So if I'm providing labor to the school, the school will provide me with money for that resource. Other expenditures for Benedictine. They had to purchase the land, right? They had to purchase the land that our campus is on. And then what are the other four factors? Capital. Well, what's involved in the capital? How about the buildings themselves? This gym that's currently going up. These desks, chairs, camera, projector, all the things that make a school run. Entrepreneurship, right? We talked about that. Headmaster of the school, board of trustees, administration. They're determining the direction of the school in order to maximize profits and achieve the school mission. All businesses have, these are expenditures for all businesses everywhere. A firm or business within a shopping center has to pay for that space, right? They have to pay their workers, the people working in that shopping center, okay, at each individual firm. There are administrative people who are determining the direction of the Wendy's restaurant, okay, or the gelato place on the corner. All of them have that in common. Let's move on. This is more of an expanded version of the same thing. You don't need to know this. There's one facet of this that you absolutely need to be aware of. That is the government's role in all this. So what is the government providing? The government's providing several things. They're providing households with what we refer to as government transfers. That could be Social Security checks, it could be Medicare, it could be Medicaid. It's just government spending to help people. And what does the government get in return? Well, they're getting taxes. And then there are other aspects that we'll get into. Financial markets. We're not going to worry about that so much right now. And we also won't worry about the rest of the world and how they play a part, with importing and exporting goods in this whole process. We really need to be familiar with this area right here, that area that I just kind of put my hands over. So that's that first one, and how kind of the government interacts is going to be the most important thing. Let's talk about how to calculate what GDP is, and then we'll go about discussing how to calculate it. So GDP is the total value of, and I want to get the wording exactly right, okay, the total value of all final goods and services, the total value of all final goods and services produced in an economy during a given year, okay, produced in an economy, the total value of all final goods and services produced in an economy during a given year, okay, so that's going to be our definition. When we get into discussing what's included in GDP and what's excluded from GDP, really the most important thing for you to know is this definition, because this definition tells you exactly what would not be included in GDP. Okay? So let's get into it a little bit. How to calculate GDP. There are three ways to calculate GDP. And one is the value of the production of all final goods and services, the value of the production of all final goods and services. So everything that is produced, what is its value, add it all up, boom, there's GDP. Another way to figure it out, spending on domestically produced final goods and services. So not just the value, but all the spending on those goods. And really, when you talk about value, when you talk about spending, if those things are sold, those should be equal numbers. So that's just another way of calculating. And then the last one would be factor income earned from firms of in our country. So the money that people spend on those goods, and then the money that they make. All of these numbers will be equal, okay, in an ideal world, of course, when we're talking about all these people in all these places. We can't possibly get it perfect, but we can come up with estimates, right? So that's the purpose there. So let's look at this example real quick, okay? This is, we'll scale it down. We won't talk about the entire economy, but if we get an idea and we look at, let's say, a coffee shop, we can get a scaled down version of what the economy looks like. So we've got, let's say that this is, maybe what they did in a given month. I don't know. They sell 25 cappuccinos, 25 cafe lattes, 50 scones, totals up to 100. Okay, but really what we've got to do is we've got to pay attention to how this is going to play out in the value of the total production. So what we've got is 25 times $3, that's going to be $75 that they're making off of cappuccinos. They're going to be cafe lattes, 25, $2.50 value production, $62.50. And then the scones, 50 times 150 equals 75. So it's really just a matter when we're calculating GDP, we're multiplying quantities times prices for the total value. We're adding those up and we're getting $212.50. Okay. It's important to note that we're only talking about, hold on one second.